Hey guys, Ben over here at Empower Gaming Computers. I did want to stop and actually just make a quick video about this this issue that we've been experiencing on one of our latest builds that we did. We actually built this last Thursday, so it's almost actually it's a week ago today, and we've just been plagued with nothing but issues on this build. And I just wanted to run through it and talk about it and, share the experience and post a video about it on YouTube. So, if anybody else is running into this issue with a similar build out, then maybe this is helpful. But I just wanted to run through the build out first, and then I'll kind of talk about the issues that we're experiencing. So first off, the CPU is the Ryzen 9 7950X3D on a Asus ROG Strix X670E gaming Wi-Fi with 64 gigs of DDR5, 6000 megahertz CL30, and that's the G-Skill Neo series, Trident Z5 Neo series, which is AMD Expo certified and is on the supported list for this board. And then the cooler that we're using here is the Lian Li, what is it called? I forget the name, but it's the one with the screen. It's the newer one that they just released. I forget the name off the top of my head. Anyway, a great cooler. Cooler's not the problem. And the video cards here is an RTX 4090, and this is the Asus ROG Strix version, as well as we have some Lian Li streamers. We have some Lian Li AL Infinity fans here. Throughout the entire build, including the reversed fans so that everything is facing the right direction. It's a solid, super nice build, all in the Lian Li Evo case. And then the power supply is also the Seasonic 1200 watt Vertex with the PCIe 5.0 or 12 volt high power cable. So we made sure we have the right cabling for that, although it is adapted to the streamer here. And some additional support bracket here. Storage, we have a 8 terabyte hard drive in the back that you can't see. That's a SATA hard drive, and then we have two M.2 NVMe SSDs. Now, the issue that we're having with this PC is that it runs perfect. Is that an issue? It is, only because I can run a load on this. I can run a complete benchmark, no problems, runs flawlessly, runs extremely well. And then randomly at idle, it'll shut off. There's no reason at all. Poof, shuts off. And then an indicator that there's a problem as well is this RGB light will just cut out. It'll disappear, shut off, like it's not getting power. It's acting like it's not getting power at all. Now, I went through the, my initial troubleshooting step was, sounds like a power supply. So I swapped out the power supply, same problem. I started swapping out system cables, the power supply cables, same problem. I bypassed the streamers to ensure that the streamers are not the problem. Same problem. So I'm like, okay, swapped out the RAM. Same problem. I even went as far as removing everything except for the CPU, the memory, and the motherboard, and the power supply. And of course, cooler, same problem. Still did it. So I even, so I've ruled out everything. So then I started swapping out the motherboard. Which was a long drawn-out process in a nice build like this. Especially, I swapped it with the same motherboard, so it was a little easier. But still, it's a process. It's about an hour process to get it right. And same problem. Still not the issue. And if you are wondering if maybe it's a BIOS problem, I have tried many different versions of the BIOS. In fact, while in the middle of flashing the BIOS, it tried to brick itself by powering off in the middle of the BIOS update. So I had to do the recovery mode and flash it using the flashback feature. So the motherboard is not the problem. The RAM is not the problem. None of the other components in the system are the problem. What does that leave us with? The last thing that you could possibly not even think or imagine that it could be, the CPU. And I've physically inspected this thing. It's still under there. I have a new one on the way to replace it. But I am fairly 100%, I'd say I'm 100% confident that that CPU is causing the problem. and I cannot believe it. It is very surprising to me because out of my history of building PCs over the last, let's say, 5 years, I probably only had 3 bad brand new out of the box. But their experience is that they just don't post at all. There's just nothing. They're dead. And that is kind of difficult to troubleshoot as well, because when you're trying to troubleshoot that, you immediately think, oh, it's a motherboard or it's RAM. And so you go through that process, but it's one of those 3 to get to a post. This made it so that the system worked under load, like it was perfect, and then at idle, yeah, let's shut off. So here we are, fighting the battle with the AMD 7950X3D. I went online and did a little bit of research, and it looks like some other people are experiencing the same issue. And I just want to say, if you are experiencing random shutoffs with this CPU, it is most likely going to be that CPU, and it is just bad out of the box. Just to save you some time, go to AMD, start your RMA process. If you need a CPU in the meantime, just buy a cheap 7600 or something and throw it in there, and that'll get you running until you get your new CPU, because they will force you to send this CPU back to them first to then get a new one. I ended up just buying one, and then I'm just returning it back to the place of purchase because I'm still in my window. So that is the process that we're dealing with here on this system. This is a system that should have been shipped by Monday, 4 days ago, and we're still sitting here dealing with this random problem. The first time it exposed itself, it was during the first boot up, and I thought, well, that's kind of weird. But then no problem after that. Did the BIOS update, did everything. Got to the benchmarks, ran fine, ran great. And then randomly, while it was just sitting there, doing nothing, poof, shuts off. And I'm like, that's a red flag. Then I started digging into it more, doing different types of tests, and started doing it more and more and more. So there's definitely something going on with that CPU, and I'm super happy that we caught this before we shipped it, because I'm in Michigan and this is going to Texas. And that would suck if this happened in Texas, because I'd be on the phone with a support dude down there, because I would have directed him to take it to a local shop to troubleshoot or help troubleshoot before we shipped it back, or before we went through that process, because I want to try to determine what's wrong with it and see if we could just fix it there before we have somebody ship it back, because it's expensive. It's going to cost about $140 or more to ship this. So we want to obviously make sure it's 100% before it leaves the shop. And that is where we're at right now. So again, Aaron, I'm sorry. Aaron, I'm sorry this is taking so long. I wanted to make a video to kind of explain the process, and I apologize that it's taken so long to get you your build. It's just been one of those rare situations that you don't come across very often. CPUs bad out of the box is pretty rare. That's all I'll say. But I hope this helps somebody else that has the same setup or is experiencing possibly the same issues. But your basic troubleshooting steps for something like this would have been power supply, because it just shuts off abruptly. Then your motherboard next, and maybe RAM before that, but doubtful it's the RAM. Especially if it boots up, you can even run a test on the RAM and see if it comes back. But it might come back with bad if the CPU is bad. So then it might lead you down a false rabbit hole. So be careful of that. But for the most part, it ended up just being stupidly a bad CPU out of the box, which is rare. Very rare. So AMD, I've looked online and I've seen quite a few of these same exact problems. Why is your flagship CPU doing this? I have another one that I'm going to be building probably today, live on stream. Hopefully we don't have the same problem, because it's going on the same motherboard, it's the same CPU, and it's the same RAM. If we have the same problem, I'm definitely going to... I don't know what to do at this point. Intel sucks. And so these AMD flagship processors, if I find another one that's bad, I don't know what to do. Don't buy a CPU. That's all I'd say. How do you have a PC? I don't know. Just don't buy a CPU. But that's where I'm at right now, guys. It's been it's been a process to get here. So, Aaron, I can't wait to get you this PC, but I cannot ship it as it stands right now. I can't. There's just no way I could have done that. So, here we are, a week behind schedule, building PCs here at the Empower Gaming Studio and finding out that the AMD flagship CPU sucks. Have a good day, guys. Happy building. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Share them. I love the conversation. If you have the same experience, feel free to share. Share your troubleshooting steps. All about that. All right, thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.